Over the past few years, posting my songs here on YouTube, I've had a very, very long learning journey when it comes to recording guitar and producing something that I'm proud of. However, with practice, I've turned this recording process from something really quite painful to something which feels much more natural and even enjoyable. And with the following tips, I hope to do the same for you, transforming the struggle into something you actually look forward to. With that being said, let's get to it. Now, my very first tip for you is to have a routine, and this routine needs to be something that puts you in the right headspace for recording. So my personal routine that I use is I might warm up for 10 minutes just practicing the song, and then I'll go for a walk usually for another 10 minutes, and then I'll get back and record straight away. Now, this little ritual I do, it really gets me in the zone for recording, and it makes the whole process a little less daunting, because it's quite nice to go on a little walk. And also, when I'm on this walk, I think about how I want to play the song and what I'm going to think about when I'm actually recording, like the mindset I want to try and hold throughout it. And I find this routine really helps to combat procrastination because it gives me definite steps that I need to follow, and each step is easy. You just practice, you go on a little walk, and then you get back, and it all kind of fits together without too much friction. And this idea of having a routine can also be applied on a larger scale, like maybe over the course of a week. So Monday, you could start, practicing and getting ready for it to be finished, the song you're gonna record and post. And then by Friday, you could be finishing it off and perfecting it so it's ready to record. Saturday, record it, and then Sunday you could edit it and then post it. And then you can just repeat this habit again and again until it becomes automatic, and then you're far less likely to postpone the actual recording process. Now, similar to the last point, tip 2 is going to be to find a time when you can focus and play the best. For me, I always used to try and record after a whole day of school, but this usually just ended up in me being in some sort of sleep-deprived state, just playing the same bars over and over again until I drove myself into a kind of hysteria. But now, however, I feel I'm so much fresher and able to focus in the morning, and when I do record in the morning, I'm able to get it down in just a few takes, which is much better than spending hours at 9 o'clock trying to do it.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
So therefore, this is when I tend to record, and an added bonus of getting it done in the morning is for the rest of the day you can relax without having to dread and procrastinate on doing it in the evening. So yeah, pick the best time that works for you and then make it into a ritual. Alright, so tip number 3, and this is so key, is to stay relaxed. Naturally, when you try and play something perfectly, we have a tendency of tensing up and trying to force the movement. However, this just makes your hands stiffer and less able to move smoothly, giving your playing more of a robotic sound rather than the fluid and warm sound that you'd want. Instead, try and consciously relax, especially in the hands and fingers. And it can also be really beneficial to practice this idea of relaxing when you're just in your normal practice sessions. This way, when it comes to recording, it's already a habit and you don't have to focus on it as much. Now, tip number 4, and this is a bit of a secret hack, you don't have to play the song all in one go. Now, it's really easy to feel pressured to try and get it in one take, but people aren't watching your music to just see a rendition which is perfect with no mistakes from start to finish. Instead, they're here because they want to hear the music that you have to offer, and if in order to produce your best work you might have to split it up into a few sections, I really don't think it matters too much. So with that being said, if there is a suitable pause between 2 sections of the song, perhaps between the verse and the chorus, then maybe get the first one down, and then in the second take you can tackle the second one, and then just simply put the 2 together. Because at the end of the day, people will be far more impressed by the quality of your playing and the emotion that it invokes, rather than the fact that you played it all in one go without making any mistakes. Because that's not what music is, and if by trying to get it perfect you're actually degrading the quality of your playing because you don't want to make any mistakes, so you're trying to play it safe, then I think there's not really any point. You might as well express yourself and not worry about making mistakes. Now, moving on to step number 5, practice is practice. It can be useful to adopt the mindset that even if you don't get the take that you want today, you're still getting really good practice in, which will allow you tomorrow, once you've rested your fingers and regained some sanity, to play even better than you could today. Now, I remember countless times when it would take me several evenings of keep coming back to it and trying again until I finally got the take that I wanted. Now, whilst I wouldn't recommend doing this yourself, I found that each day my playing was much better than it was the night before, until finally on the third day it was at a level which I was satisfied with. Another useful mindset that you can use to help combat perfectionism is to think that the quicker I get this song recorded and posted, the quicker I can move on to learning the next. It's about knowing that the extra few hours spent trying to get one song from 95% to 100% might be more worthwhile spent getting a new song from 0% to 40%. This is because the more hours you put into learning the song and the better you get at playing at it, you start to get diminishing returns to the results you get once you practice it more and more. Because the more time and effort that you put trying to get the song to its absolute limit of how good it can be is probably not as worthwhile spent learning a new song, because these few hours will be hardly noticeable on the song which is almost perfect, especially to the audience. Now, of course, this doesn't mean just posting a song that you can hardly play in order to move on to the next. Instead, it's just about having the awareness that the effort that you put in trying to get 99% to 100% will be hardly noticeable to those listening. Now, tip number 7 is to set deadlines for yourself to help avoid this perfectionism trap of spending days or even weeks longer than you should trying to get it perfect. Instead, tell yourself that you will get it done today no matter what, and resist the urge to reject a perfectly valid take for the hopes of a slightly better one. And you might want to use this technique earlier on in the learning process, perhaps saying on Monday that you only have 1 week to practice, and then on Sunday you're filming it no matter what, there's no options, so from Monday to Sunday you just got to practice and you can't be lazy and procrastinate doing so. This way you'll be far more driven to actually practice because there's a need to get better and to get better quickly. Similarly, there's an equal drive to learn new songs because you know that by a certain date it has to be up and it has to be ready. Now, assuming that you are recording these songs to at some point share online on some sort of platform, then it might help to announce to your community when they can expect you to post, perhaps every other Sunday. This way you have that accountability with your fans, however many there may be, and you'll be far less inclined to procrastinate because they're counting on you to get that work done and share your music with them. Now, a quick bonus tip here: if you're not making mistakes, then the music probably isn't challenging enough for you. Now, whilst it might be more fun to stay in your comfort zone and play songs which you can play well, but if you're not making these mistakes, then you won't grow because you can't learn from the mistakes that you don't make. So instead of getting demotivated by the mistakes you do make, then perhaps use it as motivation and a sign that you are pushing yourself out of this comfort zone, and when you're out of the comfort zone, that's where you make real progress. So use this weakness as motivation to practice more, to get better, to try harder, and that is where real success will be found. So yeah, don't be scared by this discomfort because it's only on the other side of the struggle that you'll see the most progress. So there you go, my 7 or 8 top tips that I really wish I'd known when I started out learning to record and post guitar, and I think would have saved me a lot of struggle. But it's okay, because through this struggle I learned a whole load of things about overcoming perfectionism and trying to play without mistakes that I can now share with you. So if you did get some value from these tips, I'd really appreciate it if you dropped a like and then let me know what you thought in the comments, and also, most importantly, let me know your greatest challenge as a guitarist when you're learning, recording, whatever, guitar related, in the comments, and I'll make a video on it. And if you are interested in recording and posting videos, which you clearly are, otherwise you wouldn't be watching the video, then you might want to check out my 3-part series where I guide you through my entire process from the gear I use, how I record my audio, film the video, what softwares I use, and how I edit the videos. So if you are, check it out and I'll see you there.